Traffic Jam is on now.
It's the Traffic Jams podcast with your humble correspondent, yours truly, Dr. Dre. And I'm in here in the Traffic Jam podcast with the son of a legend. And I mean, I don't know how our paths haven't crossed prior, but they're crossing right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daryl Mooney in the house. Hey, Daryl, how you doing?
Hey, man. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. We're doing great, man. My brother and I are doing fantastic, and we are in the state of celebrating our father. It's like what Dick Gregory used to always tell me. He told me, Dick Gregory was like my godfather.
Yes.
We used to talk all the time, and he told me, he said, when anybody dies and when I die, only mourn me for 3 days. After 3 days, it's a violation. Go into celebration. When you come to my funeral, don't be crying. Don't be sad, be happy, and celebrate all of the contributions I did to the planet. Celebrate me. Don't be coming up in here crying.
Yeah, there's no reason to start falling down, throwing flowers, acting crazy, and acting like you knew me all your life. But let's first of all acknowledge we're talking about Mr. Paul Mooney, not only a great comedian, not only a great artist, actor, producer, not only just a great politician, not only a great activist. Now, I mean, I can go down the list here. This was a great human being who I was blessed enough, just like the late, great Dick Gregory, to know very well for a very long time. Let's start off with something simple. What's it like growing up with Mr. Paul Mooney as a dad and your twins? What is that like?
Well, want to give love to my mother, Tony Linyard, who raised us, and we saw our father a few times when we were young, and then we started visiting him when we were 13, because my father had us when he was 15 and a half.
Wow.
My mother was 14. Okay, so they never lived together. They were never together. All right. So when we started visiting him at 13 years old in the summers, we started experiencing him and experiencing Hollywood. Then we would come back to Oakland, and he turned us on into a whole new world, man, a whole new world of entertainment in Hollywood. And his consciousness was slowly developing, because in the house, I remember 3 books. There was Red Fox's book, which was the encyclopedia on Black comedians, which my father was in. And I would read that all the time, looking at all the comedians in his stories. And then there was a book called The Game of Life, which was a self-development book, a famous self-development book. And then the 3rd book was Destruction of a Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. These books, I would keep my head in. It was kind of his consciousness: comedy, self-esteem, loving himself, and Black consciousness. And he used all that energy. And also he would read The Final Call in Jet magazine every week. Every week. Jet
magazine seems to be one of the greatest periodicals ever put together, because it was short, small, and we all remember The Final Call, and of course, The Beauty of the Week.
Yeah. And Hollywood copied that. They learned it. That's where People magazine came from.
Yes.
People magazine was a larger jet, because John Johnson, which was the owner of and the publisher of Jet magazine, and Ebony, one of our great millionaires, he came up with the idea that to make it short, the story short, and show a lot of pictures. People magazine copied that. They weren't doing those magazines before Jet. Jet motivated them to do that. See, so Jet magazine, very powerful, but he would keep updated with information in his head on Black consciousness, on Black Hollywood, Black things. And he would go up on stage and present that information in a humorous way. And people have to realize, man, and you guys understand this, that what he did from, think about it, 400 years of slavery, 400 years with post-traumatic slavery syndrome after slavery, he was liberating minds through his comedy. He was liberating Black minds through his comedy and teaching white people what racism was really all about, even if they were in denial. And the ones who were in denial is the ones who ran out of the clubs, right? And first, when he was on stage, when they would run out of the clubs, he didn't understand it. And then he got to the point where he understood it, and he would beat them to the game. He would run them out before they was wanting to run out. And then he would
the type of person he was.
He would put jokes on it. And I hope N-words are robbing your cars outside. You know,
he used to say, I like to say the N-word so much I can brush my teeth saying it. I could say that word and brush my teeth with a smile. Yeah. And I used to crack up on that one.
Yeah.
But let me move forward with you. Our first incarnation myself, growing up watching Mr. Paul Mooney, when he was a regular on the short-lived Richard Pryor show, not only as being one of the regulars with Robin Williams and company, he was actually a writer on that show. Did you get a chance to visit that show?
Brother, you got to go before that, bro. You got to go before that. He was writing for Red Fox. He was writing for Flip Wilson.
Oh no, I was going there. I was going to Richard for
now. When we did the Richard Pryor show in the early '80s, my brother and I were bit players on the show. My father was the head writer, not just the writer. He was the head writer of all the writers. Richard Pryor said, "Here, I want you to control all the writers. Everybody who writes got to come through you." So he was the head writer and he was the casting director. So Robin Williams and all those people, Marsha Warfield, Tim Reed, Johnny Witherspoon, and all the others that he had as players on the show, he casted them all from the Comedy Store. Those were his friends. They were unknowns, man.
Yo, what up? It's your boy, Aries Spears. Or maybe it's Paul Mooney, nigga. You are watching The Traffic Jam. Keep it locked. Like slavery and niggas, you're not going anywhere. Keep it locked.
Now we can go back because a lot of folks, and we're dating ourselves, showing our age, about the Flip Wilson show.
I'm 63, so yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm 57, so as I said, we're dating ourselves, but there's nothing wrong with dating ourselves. That's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
So here's my thing. When the Flip Wilson show came on, which we used to run to the screen and lay on the floor and watch Flip Wilson as Geraldine and company, your father wrote for the Flip Wilson show?
Yes. There's some old scenes. If you see when Richard Pryor would do the show, remember Richard Pryor was sometimes a guest on the show?
Yes.
He'd always have Paul in scenes with him, right? You see him.
So Paul would always play the co-guy, the co-black guy in the scenes, so it would make it look natural.
So imagine us watching that. We're in the house, right? And then the Flip Wilson show come up, and here come Richard and our father in the show. And now imagine this, watching them sit down in the living room, our father sitting us down in the chair, and Richard and my father are right in front of us writing scripts for Sanford and Son.
That was my next thing.
And then you see my dad, Richard coming in with the coat, got the Courvoisier, sit it down, he coked up, right? They got the fine secretary there, my father on the right side, and then my Richard is like, yeah, let's have Red say, because he high, right? MF, he doing all this cursing, F.U. Lamont, and Lamont say, no, you's a mother sucker, they cursing back, and my father saying, Richard, this is TV, Richard, this is
Richard, you can't say that like that.
And we can't say that on TV, Richard.
We have to bring it down to the white people.
Yeah,
we have to make the white people hear.
Is appropriated to make it clean where Richard was coming from with the same energy, but clean it up. Right? And all Richard could say was, okay, Paul, I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry, Paul. And
did your father have any influence on Richard Pryor writing with Mel Brooks for the classic Blazing Saddles, starring Cleavon Little?
He didn't have influence other than him being his friend. You know, as a comedian, you got friends and you comedians and they help you think and stuff. But no, he didn't have an influence on that script. That was something that Richard and Mel Brooks did. But Richard, again, was so high, Mel Brooks had to fire him, and Mel Brooks didn't want to fire him. But it was because everybody else that wanted him gone.
Because the story goes that Richard wrote all the funny lines for Mel Brooks, but they wanted him to write all the funny lines for Cleavon Little. And he said, no, these are funny. You need to be funny. So he would give all the funny lines to Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Well, Richard was supposed to be Cleavon Little's character.
Yes.
Imagine Blazing Saddles with Richard. That would have been Richard and who was the white guy?
Gene Wilder. That would have been their first movie. That would have been. But they've gone on and done really well. Speaking of movies, your father's been in quite a few movies. The first movie I saw him in was the Buddy Holly story, playing Sam Cooke. That was hysterical to me. I said, wait a minute. Paul Mooney's playing Sam Cooke?
You know why that happened?
Go ahead.
Because he looked like Sam Cooke.
Mm-hmm.
When they saw my father, when they was doing the show, what's his name, came into the club, the guy who starred as Buddy Holly.
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. He saw my father in the club and told him, you look just like Sam Cooke. I want you to be Sam Cooke in my movie. Okay? Gary Busey is the one who casted him in that movie because he came and saw him at the club. Yeah.
Wow.
See how things work, man. So, and he was always told all his life that he looked like Sam Cooke. So it was perfect casting.
The perfect casting. So let's jump into some seriousness for a moment, because I know this goes with your father's legacy. And like I said, I loved your father dearly as a godfather and a good friend to me. And the rumor mill, as it always is, or allegedly, of his sexuality, which I don't understand why in the 21st century we're still bringing that up. Like that's a huge curse. Could you enlighten the Traffic Jam audience to those rumors of your father's sexual preference?
I don't know. I know what we know. This is what I do know. I know he had lady friends. I know that he had 3 wives. I know that he had babies. He had children. He was a great father. As far as what he was doing sexually, other than being with women, I don't know. So I can't answer that question. And I don't care.
I know. That's what I said. I heard that on the interview.
But when somebody starts saying stuff, I have to address it, and then I have to be like a lawyer. What are you talking about? So we address that, and on another, I don't want to say the name of the show, but you go to the internet, just look up Mooney Twins addressing gay rumors, and you will see a whole hour on it, on any of your things. And
that's why I'm tagging this part too, because I did see that. But again, being we're on Traffic Jam's podcast, my name is Dr. Dre. I'm going to get to the heart of the matter right here. The same thing goes with The Bodyguard and Richard Pryor's son, because I know Rain Pryor, who's been on many different shows with us too. Could you address those allegations about your father?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't even know Richard Pryor Jr. I don't know the story. Now I do know The Bodyguard. I do know him, Rashawn. Mm-hmm. I don't know Richard Pryor Jr. I know Rashawn. Good brother, was a good brother, but there was a lot of, as far as I'm concerned, there was just a lot of controversy. There was a lot of he said, she said stuff. And, and Richard Pryor Jr. never came out his mouth and actually, he was kind of playing. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get into all that. I don't know. I don't know, because we could be up here all day talking about that. My father.
I'm not here. We're here to talk about you too. We're to discuss you
I know.
And I'm gonna say it was a blessing and an honor to be around your father. And I've hung out with a lot of your father's friends and colleagues that he's been with. I've hung out with Jim Brown. I've seen some of their parties and everything that's going on. It was Jim Brown trying to introduce me to Richard in his latter years to have certain discussions with him because they wanted me to do some stuff with them when it came to movie stuff. But here's my thing I think what your father and what the late great Dick Gregory said, I'm about the celebration of the life.
Yeah.
I'm about how he pushed the envelope further and how many of us were influenced by his words, his writing, and his way of life. When I say his way of life, how he carried himself in front of folks. I've seen your father shut down reporters of different races and say, nope, I'm not talking to you. I'm only talking to this half of the audience. And my brother over here, my brother over there. But he did it with such respect.
Yeah.
We all understood that it wasn't a malicious thing. It was honestly, he was expressing himself in a way that only people like Dick Gregory, Richard Pryor, and the late, great Paul Mooney now can be distinguished for. So in that, I want to tell you, thank you. And we're very, very grateful for that.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
But I want to ask some questions about you. Real simple. I understand based on your bio, did you write The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
No, we co-starred in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Oh, co-starred.
We were Kenny and Benny Ray on the basketball team, the twins on the basketball team.
That's y'all? Get out of here.
Yeah, that's me and my
brother. That's
brother.
one of my favorite movies because my mentor and the man that actually gave me the name Dr. Dre starred in that movie, Julius Dr. Dre Irving.
Yes.
And I was actually a New York Net ball boy when he played for the New York Nets and won championships there. So I used to emulate his basketball style. What was it like starring in a movie with Stockard Channing, James Bond III, and Dr. J?
Oh my God, it was amazing. Dr. J, first of all, Dr. J is everything that you see he is. He is a gentleman, a brother. He was, in fact, I saw Dr. J, we did an NBA piece a few years ago, and he was there signing autographs. And I hadn't seen Dr. J since we did the movie. And as soon as he saw us, he ran up, he stopped signing autographs, had us come to him, and in front of everybody, he started going over the lines. This was crazy.
From the movie.
In the movie. He started doing the lines right there in front of everybody. I couldn't remember none of the lines, but he was like going through all the motions of the lines. It was crazy.
Well, let me give you a quick background on the movie for those who don't know. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh was about an astrologer who helped put together this team with their ball boy.
It was the fish because everybody was Pisces.
Right, so everybody was Pisces. And the thing is, Dr. J's name was Moses. And when they all worked together, they were like an incredible basketball team as one. If you can see it on DVD, or you can Roku it, or you can get it on your whatever device out there. You got to get it. Now I got to get it because I got to see y'all so I can crack up and say, that was them.
Yeah.
How many people know that? How many people know that Fish That Saved Pittsburgh like that?
Yeah, we've been doing stand-up for since we were like early 20s, man, off and on. So we know the comedy game too. So
that was my next question.
Oh yeah.
Because of your father, did that bring you and your brother into doing comedy?
Yeah, I would say yes. Inspired by him to do comedy, and Dick Gregory inspiring us to be speakers. So we do comedy and we speak also. And what we learned that being a conscious comedian, a conscious person in the industry, we never tuned into Hollywood like that because we didn't give a damn about Hollywood. We just loved doing comedy for sake of being conscious. But behind that, we learned and cultivated our information about Black history. We cultivated our information about wellness and health. We cultivated our information about making money. So that's why today we are investors, cryptocurrency, Forex market. We have a organization called the Wealth Portal. That's why when we come in town and do the tributes, we do the comedy tribute, but in the day, we do wealth building seminars and we teach the community how to make money easily and simply in residual and passive income. Because if you're gonna be conscious, you better be making your own money, because Hollywood will make you broke. You will be rich in consciousness, but you will be broke in pocket, and they will make sure of that. Your Malcolm X's, your Martin Luther Kings, these individuals did not have a lot of money. They had a wealth of consciousness, and they were about the liberation of the mind. But we want you to be liberated mentally, and we want you to be financially free too, because he or she who has the consciousness and the money has the power.
That's true. One thing we used to say is there's no retirement check from conscious rappers or conscious comedians. It's a very small, small conscious check. But I gotta get with you because you build on that kind of wealth. We need to bring you back and have a serious conversation just based on that alone.
Yes,
because I'm very, very into the NFT market, the non-fungible tokens. I'm learning more and more about blockchains, cryptocurrencies. Oh yeah, man, yeah. I look, I've been doing this a long time, and I've brought a lot of people through the game. I've been very successful, but now it's time to be successful for grandchildren, great grandchildren, and plus. And so this knowledge that I need to work with you with and be a better student, if you're teaching, we need to share. How can people get in contact with you so that you can actually, they can be a part of your wealth building?
Two ways you can get in contact. Few ways. Facebook, programs. Look for the Wealth Portal group on Facebook and ask to join the Wealth Portal group. And you'll see all the testimonials and all the people I've got making money. We've got people retiring. I mean, I got people, we make between the both of us, we make over $30,000 a month. So just with our investments and growing, that's because we help people. We make money with helping people. And we work with a lot of Black-owned cryptocurrency and Forex market companies. And my brother created his own robot, which had trades for itself, and we get 37% return. But we'll talk about that some other time.
All right, so I actually don't believe in doing single joint exercises unless you're preparing for a bodybuilding competition or something that's very aesthetically based. I think that the best way to work your biceps and triceps, your arms, are by doing multi-joint exercises. So one of my favorite exercises to do to work my arms are dips. So you can go ahead and find, again, any sort of stable elevated surface. I'm gonna use this wall. Scoot down a little bit. Have your shoulders back. You can either have your legs completely straight or you can bend them. And you're just gonna bend at the elbows, extend, keep the belly button drawn into the spine. Make sure that you keep your shoulders back and engaged. You don't want them to roll forward like this. You also don't want to be in your neck. Keep your ears away from your shoulders. Shoulders are ear poisoning. Keep the chest up high to the sky and dip down. Notice that my wrists are facing forward. If that bothers you, you can turn your wrist out to the side, whatever works for you. I'm also keeping my elbows back and fairly close to the rest of my body. You can go ahead and use your legs as assistance in getting up, or you don't have to. And again, you can do them straight leg for more of a challenge.
I want people to be able to reach out to you and be able to work with your program. They can reach me they can email me Mooney Star, MOONEY star, STAR @hotmail.com. Mooney Star @hotmail.com. And they can get to the Facebook, the Wealth Portal group. The Wealth Portal group, and you see a circle of green and black, Wealth Portal, and that's us. Ask to join, I will approve you, you'll be in, and you can talk to us and contact us. You can contact us on Facebook, Daryl Mooney, Dwayne Mooney, and inbox us. But hit me up on my email, mooneystar@hotmail.com. Well, with all the tribute you have laid out in celebration of your father's life and his legacy, and with all that you're doing with this wealth program for many people of color. And, you know, I would say all people.
Yeah.
What is your 1 year plan from now? Where do you want to see things?
Well,
with
literally,
the
my
Mooney Twins and
1 year plan my 1 year plan is to be a millionaire in 1 year, and to help a whole lot of other people either become millionaires or become thousandaires. So my thing is to be able to tour the world internationally, teaching people how to easily make money, passive income weekly, get paid every week, every day around the world. I got a t-shirt, stop that I've created, 2 t-shirts, you'll love this. One is stop the poverty, increase the wealth. Stop the poverty, increase the wealth. The other t-shirt, it comes from my father. He saw us, when we were writing for him with the Judge Mooney show, we had gotten this business credit. We were driving these 2 Mercedes, and we came up and my father said, "You N-words have gone from coon to tycoon." So my shirt says coon to tycoon.
Tycoon. That's
So
great.
I got that shirt, coon
I
and
gotta use
tycoon.
that.
Because
I gotta
cooning,
use that.
you know, when you tap dancing and cooning, you got to get paid when you're working for a demand. That's one thing, but when you become a tycoon, you're working for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as Warren Buffett would say, you should always be making money while you're sleeping.
Sleeping, eating, playing, working, on this radio show, being interviewed, we still making money.
Well, this is the Traffic Jam podcast, and we are so grateful to have you here. And I'm going to demand to bring you back so we could do a full 30, what I'm going to call a dirty 30 on the wealth program that you, as the Mooney Twins, are doing. And we want to thank you and appreciate you for, I mean, first of all, now I'm a bigger fan because now I know you were the Twins in the Fish that say Pittsburgh. Holy, man, let me get my ABA basketball out in a minute. This is Dr. Dre for a Traffic Jam podcast with one of the Mooney Twins, Daryl, and now new best buddy because he's turning health and bringing the wealth back to his community. We love you, man. Thank you again.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
This is the Traffic Jam.